Welcome to the United We Scan podcast, the podcast by rural carriers for rural carriers. The views expressed in this podcast are of the presenters and the presenters only and do not represent the views, opinions, or strategies of the United States Postal Service or the National Rural Letter Carriers Association. We ask that you please consult your assigned union representative for guidance in your local area. Please like this podcast, share with your fellow rural carriers, and subscribe to be notified each time a new episode is uploaded. Please leave a comment or question for us below. Thank you. Now, here are the hosts of the United We Scan podcast.
Welcome back, everybody. Episode 96, political season reports and upcoming things, I guess, is what we got going on tonight. James, how was your week?
It was hell on wheels. 5 feet of political mail approximately on Monday, and DPS being late pretty much every day this week because they're holding it at the plant to get all the political mail out of the plant. And I didn't get done Monday until almost 8 o'clock. Well, I walked out the door at 8 o'clock. But Tuesday, late back again, late mail. Wednesday, late mail, late back. Thursday, late mail, late back. Friday, late mail, late back. It's just political season needs to end soon because being a swing state, and all our other swing state carriers will agree with us on this, is murder on our hands, on our spirits, and on our work life because we don't get time to go home with it. And we know right after it's done, we start going into package season. So another week of that, and I guarantee you we'll have flyers all the way through Friday that we're still delivering even after all the voting's done and tabulated. Somebody concedes, somebody wins, and it doesn't matter because in the end, it's just a pain in the butt for me. The weekend was nice. I spent time with my family, did some yard work around the house, and cleaned up a little bit, some fall cleaning with the extra hour I got today to help out. Now we're here on the podcast. So how was your week, Bill, of not doing anything?
I have 4 pages of things not to do that I haven't done. I went out and bought a new car on Thursday. He got me a Kia Seltos, so I have something a little bigger to put the grandchildren in the back seat. I handled maybe about 30, 40 calls from my office in regards to political mail. They actually, I'm not making this up, folks. You're 2 routes down, and they wanted to send another sub to another office. And I'm just sitting there going, "Are you kidding me?" Now, the picture that you all got of that political mail, that, like I said, that represented almost 2,200 pieces. And other guys, 4,300 pieces of political mail. And I'm asking, is the radar report up? Are you getting credit for this? Is this a WSS, WSH? And, ladies and gentlemen, I feel sorry for you, but if you don't pay attention in regards to the radar report and what qualifications WSS or WSH is, you're getting screwed because in the swing states like Pennsylvania, Michigan, Virginia, Georgia, I believe Wisconsin too, you're getting hammered. And these are numbers that you should be getting credit for as flats, as raw flats, if not WSS. So please, pay attention and check the numbers, because if somebody sits you and says, well, that's why you have a 19% buffer in there, 19% doesn't make up, for 2,300 pieces of political mail or 4,300. It's just off the charts. I like somebody said, a million death by a million paper cuts, and it's true. I mean, there's nothing more demoralizing than coming in and seeing a 14-inch stack of political flyers on your case Monday morning, and then turning around and finding 3 or 4 more bundles in your damn hamper. They threw it in the bullpen. God bless you all. Right now, I think I'd be going postal, and that's one of the reasons with the current management in my office that it was better for me to get out of there before I went to a penitentiary, because I can't tolerate this crap anymore the way we're shit on. And after seeing the NALC's contract come out, I'm only expecting the worst for us. So God bless you all. Be safe, and especially everybody who's in the daylight savings time zone. Oh my God, it's dark at 4:50 right now. So come. Do you guys have daylight savings time there in Michigan?
Yes.
Yep.
So James, you're gonna be working three hours out in the dark tomorrow.
Yeah.
God help you. God bless you. Be safe, and know where the bad dogs are. How about you, Kristen? How'd your week go?
Well, Monday was an 11.5-hour day. Gotta love the political. I think Monday we had more mail Monday than what we've had on a Tuesday after a Monday holiday lately. It was just ridiculous. It took me over 4 hours to get out of the office. I mean, 11 a.m. is usually that's my point of no return, and it was noon when I got out of the office on Monday. That sucked. And got back at 7 o'clock. Tuesday was almost just as heavy. Not quite, but the DPS-wise has just been horrible. Then Wednesday I trudged through it, and then Wednesday night my taste was diminishing. I had been feeling good all week anyways, and I was just feeling sinuses, so I took a couple Benadryl. Those usually knock me out. Didn't do nothing. Took a couple of Aleve PM. Those usually one knocks me right out. Yeah, no, 2-3 hours later, I'm still staring at the ceiling. Got up, went to the bathroom, took a COVID test. Guess what was positive? So I called in sick for Thursday and Friday. So I go back tomorrow. I'm feeling a whole lot better than I was. But other than that, yeah, I'm waiting to see what kind of mess I have to clean up tomorrow. That should be fun. Whether or not the RCA paid attention to the 3 seasonals that went on Friday, the hold that started Saturday. Yeah, I have a lot going on this weekend for me to be sick, but and then
You feeling better? You feeling better now?
I am feeling a lot better now. Yes, it's a lot better. It was rough last week. So, and then Tuesday, Ruby got her offer email and background check email. And Friday, she got her email to go do her fingerprints, so she ran up and did those.
Oh, or she has my condolences.
Right? Now I have to find the money to find her a POV. That's the fun part.
Oh.
But yeah.
She got to work out of your office?
Yes, she is.
Oh, the people in your office. Not only do they have to deal with you, Kristen, they're going to have to deal with the one you trained from birth.
Right? Here's the thing is I've got a copy of the new Academy book. I mean, I can get her started.
Oh, just let her listen to all the podcasts. She'll be started enough.
Right. Plus, she's been to every union function with me this year except for National.
Yeah,
I don't think she would have made that trip with a brand new newborn.
No. Excuse me. As much
That would have
as
been
she
very
wanted to.
difficult.
Yeah.
That would have been very difficult for her. So I understand at least. I don't know if Bill does, but I do.
Oh, yeah.
No, I don't.
No. I'm the one that said, no, you're not going.
Back in Vietnam, they'd give birth to the rice paddy and go back to work.
I didn't want to deal with her and a newborn on a 3-day car trip.
Oh.
Being 2 days postpartum. No, I did not want to deal with that.
Besides,
with all your shit in my car, I didn't have room for them anyways.
Yeah, that's right. You tie them on the hood as a hood ornament, It's like,
yeah.
I remember back in the day.
We used to ride on the back window laying down.
Well, no. No, this is a true story. Our families, my family, my father, sister, my aunt, used to go down to Wildwood every year for a month because we had a house down there. And on the way back, my dad's car broke down. So we packed Uncle Joe's station wagon as much as possible. And the 3 boys, me, Joe, and Michael, didn't have any place to sit. So we got up on the top of the roof and they put a tarp over us and we held onto the roof rack bars on his Chevy Impala wagon. We drove about 56 miles back home that way under a tarp. That's
That
why I don't
explains
fear
a lot.
anything. Yeah, I know. Getting hit in the head a couple times didn't help, but
Oh, dear Lord.
Okay, before we go further off the rails. All right.
See that?
So
See how he played that off the rails? Get it? Go ahead, James.
we're trying to get back on track here. The train needs to keep rolling.
Manifestation.
We have a really good question down in the chat. I don't know if you want to
Yeah.
start off with it or end with it.
I think we'll end with that.
Okay.
That's actually a really good one, and it's probably going to take a length of time to talk about. So I'm going to put it in my little topics chat window that I have, so we can do it. All right. So as we had talked about in the intros, daylight savings time happened early this morning. We gained an extra hour supposedly, though I still can't figure out how cutting off the end of the blanket and showing it on the top makes it a longer blanket. But carriers are going to be out in the dark more often. So I wanted to kind of talk about the things that we as carriers can do to help protect us at night, things you carry with you for at nighttime, stuff like that. Do you think that'd be a good idea for the start of this? Because it's very important that we protect her at night.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kristen, why don't you start us off with how you get yourself ready for nighttime operations, how you set yourself up, and what you use to work at night?
Well, at first, I keep it in the truck year-round, though. I have a small rechargeable flashlight that's got several different settings on it. Strobe where I keep that in the truck year-round, but I have that hanging up by my visor. And then I have the little finger gloves with the lights on them. I prefer those over a headlamp. Even when I'm driving, I just aim my fingers down so it's not reflecting off the windshield. And then I prefer those much more. And I mean, worst comes to worst, if the battery dies or I forgot to charge them or something, I have two pairs now. I just got to dig out the other pair. But cargo light, I prefer that instead of the overhead light, just because for me, I don't like all that bright reflective stuff off the windshield. So cargo light's my last resort. But yeah, I prefer my fingerless gloves. Like I said, with driving, I just point my fingers down. James?
I was going to go to Bill next. He worked at night too, just like we did, especially in Pennsylvania there. I want to know what he used while he was out on the route, especially being that we're in an LLV and he was in an FFV. So there might be a small difference between the two.
Well, to me, there wasn't really that much difference because of the angle of the windshield reflecting that light. What I would do, and it takes a little ingenuity, is you get a piece of cardboard and you cut a 3/4 diameter circle and then notch it on the inside to fit around your interior light. Not the cargo light, but the actual overhead light. And what that does is prevents that light from hitting that windshield and directs all the light down onto the mail area. And that works phenomenally. Like I said, it takes a little, work to do it, and I had to measure the circumference of the light and all that crap, but it works great. And, as long as I was working, I left it in there. I left it in once for a sub, and they pulled it out, and I said, okay, after that, no more leaving it for the sub. The other thing of it is that at nighttime, unless you know the route, specifically it's your route, and you know where the dogs are that are not friendly, I have a tactical flashlight that does a very high frequency pitch with a very fast strobe light, which drives them nuts just in case they come up on you unexpectedly. And it just stops them in their tracks because they have no idea what to do. The light blinds them, off and on like that, and the frequency is just high enough to, really get in their eardrums and bother them. I can't hear it because it's for a dog, but it works. It's worked without the flashlight. It's worked in conjunction with the flashlight. But I always had a headlight, on me, headlamp on me because of the fact that I want to watch where I'm walking too. I mean, you don't know where every little nook and cranny in the lawn is, and if it's anything like my lawn, there's a couple little bumps there that turn your ankle in a heartbeat. So watch where your footing is, watch where you're going, and watch for the dogs. That cardboard trick is magical in regards to keeping the light off the windshield, so that you can drive without that flash as far as the light's concerned. Turning off and on, it just drove me nuts. So that's what I came up with. Beans?
So, like Kristen, I usually use the cargo light in the back if I can, because my light over the top of me in the driver's compartment shines off the mail right on the windshield, and I can't see. And so I do that. I also do either flip-flop or case all my mail in the wintertime because I don't want to have to finger through it while I'm have the light on and stuff. I can just grab and toss. Then I also bought one of those headlamps that has the wraparound flexible LED strip for walking to doors and stuff, so I can see on the sides of me and stuff to prevent dogs from sneaking up on me, things like that. Always carry your dog spray on you, because worst case scenario, that's one thing you can do. As Kristen said, she has the finger gloves. I don't like anything on my hands when I'm out there. But it does work great for a lot of people. Several people in my office have those. Some people have book lights that they clip onto their trays to deliver with in my office, so they can actually have it right over their mail so they can see the mail, but it's not as bright as the dome lights in the truck. So there are all kinds of different tricks you can do and things like that, but just setting yourself up for the day at the beginning is, I think, the biggest contributor to success, especially at night. Even organizing your packages in delivery order before you go out to the route is especially a great way to ensure that you're not missing any parcels in the dark. But if anybody in our chat has any suggestions too, we'll be more than happy to put them up later on in the episode of what they suggested. So, being that it is coming to an end on Tuesday, supposedly, Political Mail, I wanted to go back over a few important things that have still been going on around the country. And the very first one is telling people to stop at every mailbox to check for ballots. Kristen, you posted about this week, so
Did
I figured you were talking. You posted the NRLCA letter that was put out about it.
Yeah, I mean, we're mounted routes. If the flag's up, obviously you're going to stop. I mean, they're not going to pay, they're not paying us to stop at even vacant boxes, which I've heard postmasters say, you got to stop at vacant boxes. No, if that box is vacant, why the hell is it going to have a ballot in it? So, yeah, I mean, if the flag is up, check it, obviously. If they didn't put their flag up, that's on them, basically, what it comes down to.
Yep. And if you're getting an instruction from management that you have to stop at every single mailbox, make sure you clarify. Do I have to take the zip ties off the mailboxes that are zip tied closed vacant? Do I have to check every single box? If so, do I get a WSS entry because I'm doing 100% coverage on my route? How am I getting paid for these extra stops that you're going to make me do? Because if they're not willing to pay you for it, then they need to show you in the PO 603 where it says you have to stop at every single box. Now, one of our listeners posted in additional mandatory instructions for delivery. Carriers will check every delivery point for outgoing mail, regardless of whether they have incoming or destinating mail. These checks shall entail, on a mounted routes, visually checking mail receptacle that has the flag up for outgoing mail. While servicing CBUs, visually checking the outgoing slot. Park and loops or dismounts, visually checking the mail receptacle box to determine if outgoing mail is displayed outside for pickup. So, and NOPE's said, I would suggest checking boxes with a broken flag. Bill, what's your take?
Well, considering the fact that my former office, has just been alerted that they can come in early Tuesday. They start an hour and a half earlier at 7 a.m. and they will be required to stop at every mailbox, whether the flag is up or not, to check for ballots. I've only got one word to say: bullshit. You want to, say the broken flag one? Okay, that's on you if you want to make that determination. But if there's not a flag up, I'm not stopping for it because you're not paying me for it. Like James said, if you want me to stop every box, I want a WSS credit for it. And I want a WSS flat credit, not a letter credit. I want to get paid for doing the extraneous work that's not required by the 603. And if you're going to make me stay out there, Monday's going to be hell, Tuesday's going to be hell. And I'll guarantee you, that offices and uninformed carriers will follow this, but offices will put out these statements that, you have to stop at every box. Show me in writing, folks. Don't show me something from district. Don't show me something from local management. Show me in writing in any related, manual, the 603, the ELM, the M38, our contract that says we are required to stop at every box. We're not getting credit for that when we're delivering mail the other 300 days of the year. How are you paying me for the 301st day of delivery? Where's my credit? So I will say bullshit. And, if you have a local steward in your office or an area steward, contact them immediately in regards to this, postings and file a grievance against it.
I agree completely. File a grievance if they're forcing you to stop at every box because you want to get paid for all that time and extra work that you're doing. Because everything comes down to fair wages for fair work. That's the biggest reason you need to be doing this stuff. You need to be pushing management to show you in writing where it says that we are supposed to do that in other tools that they have available, like the PO 603, like our contract, things like that. It has to show it that we have to stop at every single box. Otherwise, we're doing work for free. And I don't like working for free. I don't think anybody does. And if they do, I've got some oceanfront property in Kansas for them.
One of our chat listeners put in there saying the percentage is so small. Well, yes, it is. But when you add up all the small things that they don't give you credit for, that you don't get paid for, it adds up. We ran into the we ran into the situation in the SDNC about retrieving empty hampers. And they thought about that, and one girl said, well, it's not a big deal. Well, yeah, you're only 20 feet away. The rest of us are 50, 60 feet away. But when you start adding up all these little items, it adds up to time. It adds up to 15 minutes, which can push you to the next step, or a half hour or whatever. It doesn't matter. You're supposed to get paid for what you do. This is the summary of Rex. You're getting paid for what you do. Well, now you're not getting paid for your PARS labels anymore, unless it's during the mini mail survey, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You're not getting paid for unscanned parcels. Yeah, exactly. But the thing of it is, I got paid for my unscanned parcels. If I had 14 that day, I put 14. If I put 6 in there, I got 6. And I'll be damned if I'm going to give you anything. We've given up enough. I mean, if you think about it, without the carriers, the job doesn't get done. You can have a couple missing clerks. You can have a couple missing you can miss all your supervisors. The postmaster can even take off. But without the carriers, the job doesn't get done.
We have been beat down with Rex. People have lost a ton of money with Rex, and giving them more free work. Just like the people who go in and start working off the clock early. They're not helping us. They're not helping the rural craft to ensure that rural carriers are paid for all the work that they do. Because they don't look at the hours that they spend working off the clock. And stopping at every single box without getting credit or payment for it is just the same as working off the clock. It's just as detrimental to the rural craft. People arguing against that are hurting our own craft, and we need to be united together as one whole unit. We need to fight anything that's going to take money out of our pockets. And this is one of the things that takes money out of our pockets.
I'm straight, Skippy.
All right. The next thing I have is ballot delivery. In my office, of course, one of our routes actually has the township offices, and they're the ones that route is responsible for delivering the ballots to the township office. Now, one of the things they've been doing in my office is actually holding the ballots at our office, round dating them at our office, and delivering them the next day to the route to be delivered to the township office. So the route is not getting credit for delivering those ballots to the office because they're not going through automation.
If they're doing it
And I know
properly, they're manually entering it into Postal One. That is what they are supposed to be doing, is manually entering those into Postal One.
supposedly. You got to remember, everything management does is to the detriment of carriers on that. And if they aren't entering it on Postal One, the carrier's not getting credit for it. So if you are the carrier that is supposed to be delivering the ballots into it, and
I
they're
am
not
that carrier.
and they're not checking to make sure it's happening, then there needs to be some kind of check in that. And like somebody said in our thing, if they don't process ballots and political mail correctly, it can open up a whole can of worms. And some of these ballots are actually tracked.
Yeah.
They may not think it, but they're tracked with that little barcode, just like when you get the SPM scans. There's a barcode on each one of those ballots tracking it everywhere it goes. And the fact they're not going through automation prevents it from making that step to show that it's in the mail stream to go to the township office or go to wherever it's supposed to go. Now, the rest of them are going into an express bag to leave our office. They're actually separated. They're banded together. They're given a ballot stick tag thrown in on it and thrown in the express mail to get sorted at the plant and sent express. So it's funny that, again, something that's first class mail is now going by plane because express has to go by plane to wherever it needs to go. But I appreciate that because that means the ballots get there quicker, unlike my express that took 4 days to get to Virginia. But just remember, make sure when you are handling the ballots, you do it in a proper fashion to deliver it on time to the office to where it needs to go.
Man,
Yeah, James, I have township office on my route, and it's also the voting poll location, so
Yeah.
Tuesday will be fun.
Yes, it will be. And I know that they're going to have ballots coming in that day in the mail and have to be delivered to that office. Have you talked about maybe being the one to deliver it so you get the credit for it?
Yeah, well, the last time during the primaries, we had a couple ballots left when I got back, so I did them under a second trip.
That was what I was asking.
Yeah.
Because I know that right now, if we're late back to the truck, the postmaster or the 204B are actually running everything to the plant. So
No, ours aren't, but I didn't make truck all week.
I know there's offices that don't have a truck in the afternoon. It makes me wonder what they're going to do with
our truck
all the
comes
ballots.
at 4:15. I don't know. Yeah, 4:15 is our dispatch truck.
And I wonder what they're going to do with all the ballots that come in off the routes on that Tuesday because they're supposed to be delivered to their respective offices, their respective locations that night.
Yes, the supervisor will collect them, and if either she'll drop them off or the carriers when they come back or an RCA would take them out. I did the same thing when I worked in my old office as an RCA, get back off the route, or I was running all over the state. I was up in the UP dropping off a ballot. I'd come back into town, had to drop off to 2 more township offices. Oh, yeah, I've done it. So.
Yeah, but at a certain point, we have to realize, people have to be realized that, with the mail being delayed as far as processing is concerned, you can't hold on to these ballots to the last minute. I mean, if you don't realize how slow the mail has become over the course of the last couple of years, because, this has been going on for a while, ladies and gentlemen, you can't wait to the last minute and expect it to be there. I mean, I've had people hand me the ballot the day after the election saying, I need to get this in. I'm like, okay, the election was yesterday. you know. But thank God Westchester at that time was collecting ballots until Friday. Every day, a polling official was at our office to collect them.
All right. And the last thing that I have under political mail is how to get paid if asked to deviate from your route, whether it is to take mail back to the office or to go back to get your DPS because the plant held it too long and you had already gone out to your route, or it came late in the day and everybody was told to go deliver and they'll call them back. Bill, we'll start with you on that one.
You might have to edit this, Kristen. Fuck you. I'm not doing it. If you haven't gone to the polling place in the morning, if you haven't mailed your ballot in already, and if you're going to go to the polling station after work, you're not going to use that mail. You're not going to be able to utilize it in making your decision. And if you haven't made your decision up on election day, there's something wrong with you.
Bill, you're off
Yes.
topic. You're off topic. We're talking about DPS, going back to the office for DPS, or getting told to go back so that your outgoing
political
mail.
Well, political mail. I address the political.
Even more than the political. This is for year round, even too. This is for year round, even too.
No, I'm so politically focused right now that no, there ain't no way I'm going to do that, as far as the political mail is concerned. And that's happened in my office where they sent them scanner messages out to come back and get political mail the clerks through late. As far as the DPS, I'm kind of torn about that in regards to making second trips. To me, that doesn't constitute a second trip. So therefore, that should be paid at time and a half.
Yes.
Up and above. No 8127 time. It's time and a half. And I've never had to argue a grievance on that basis because of the fact that we've basically established that it's not a second trip. Therefore, the DPS can be held off the next day. And I'm sorry to the carrier who's coming in or the sub that's going to get squashed. But no. To me, that's one of those things where you screwed up. Don't expect me to reconcile or save your ass in regards to it going out. The political mail still bullshit.
And any other time of the year, it's the same thing. If your DPS is late or they want you to bring the stuff back. No, number one, the scanners are supposed to be used for emergencies only, and your lack of preparation does not constitute my emergency. And it's the same with getting the mail back to make the truck. If you want the mail to make the truck, you send an RCA out paying them on green card time to come get the mail off of me. You don't tell me I need to come back and bring it back. I'm not answering my phone while I'm on the route because my state has a no cell phone policy at all while the vehicle is engaged. And sitting on the side of the road in park is still considered engaged.
And please don't put on the scanner that the PTF is unavailable. I saw that message come across one day in my office, and I'm sitting there going, "Excuse me." And the supervisor the next day said, "Well, why were you upset about the message?" I said, "What's a PTF? Aren't they a relief carrier?" "No, they're a PTF." "What does a PTF do?" "They're a relief carrier for the string that they're assigned. They're paid hourly." Then their asses back out. If the RCAs are out there and they've got their route and they're splitting another route, why should the PTF be going home at 3:45? Oh, I didn't know that. Now, this is why we need to educate the craft, because management is not. What do we say about an educated craft, James?
An educated craft is the bane of management.
Amen. Preach it.
Kristen, your thoughts?
Well, given that I've heard we're going to have a second run for tomorrow.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Supposedly, they were supposed to drop some off today, and the PUM wanted to mandate the 2 RCAs to go in and case it up. And our argument is, how the hell are we supposed to case up the millions of flats we're going to get when the DPS has already filled up the case? So I guess we're all supposed to report in an hour early tomorrow.
You need another shipment of 4 walls?
I might. Oh,
I'm,
just to get through
I'm
this.
sure. I'm sure I could scrounge up some padded ones for you.
Oh, my word.
Not the same type, James. Not the same type.
No. Yeah. So, honestly, if you're gonna make me go back out, if you're gonna bring me the DPS and let me continue from where I'm at, and then bring the rest of it back to case for the next night or next morning, excuse me, that's okay. If you're going to insist we come back, well, from that moment I leave that box, come back to the office, load, I'm on time and a half until I get back to that box that I left off. Plain and simple. And then see how well they like that one.
James, come on, pick it up.
It's like,
Hang on a second. I lost my Bluetooth.
oh.
It's next to the incisor.
There we go. Yeah, it's crazy to think that management's going to try and get us to do things that we aren't paid for over and over again. And the carriers that give in to these demands make it much harder for the craft as a whole to protect itself from being abused by management. Now, changing gears a little bit, but still a little bit of political involved in this, the reports that carriers need to be looking at every single day include things like your radar report, because you need to make sure that your political mail is being listed on those reports. The extra amount of DPS political flyers you're getting, the extra amount of flat political flyers you're getting needs to be listed on those reports, and you need to be checking them every day. What other reports do we need, Kristen?
I was totally engulfed in something else there. Sorry.
EPR. EPR.
Yes.
The
You need your
your package tracking report, your end of run report, your radar report, package tracking report. What else?
your RIMS report,
Oh yeah, that one too.
the radar report, and of course your monthly mapping report, your LTM report at the end that shows how many boxes you went up or down, how many miles with change on your route, etc. You need that report every month as well, because this is all your money, and management not posting your radar report, your RIMS report, and things like that is something that should be grieved immediately, because those reports are your only way of ensuring that the numbers they're printing on your 4241s are accurate, because management will go in and change those numbers if they want to. We don't know what they have access to change at this point. They won't even tell the union what they have access to change.
This brings up a real problem, and because how much complicity is the National Board in with the Postal Service in regards to not providing transparency? I mean, since the inception of Rex, we've actually been told and spoon-fed the transparency aspect of Rex. Yet we haven't had it. Now we're into what we're just past our 4th mini mail survey. We're 2 years into this and still don't have transparency. People still have not mapped their routes on a monthly basis. People still don't have their radar reports, their RIMS report, the PTR. I don't understand how we can basically address thousands of people through the course of the week through this podcast, and yet they still have the same complaints every week. You need to stand up for yourselves, for your fellow carriers who lack the backbone to stand up to management and demand they do their jobs. They demand we do our jobs every day. Guess what, folks? That's a two-faced card. It goes both ways. You do your job, we'll do our jobs. And we can't do our jobs unless you do yours.
All right. So, a couple things that are coming up is open season for the insurances. And now we have, instead of being on the federal health benefit plan, we are now on the Postal Service health benefit plans. That's a change. Open season is coming up. I believe it's November 11th it opens, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, November 11th.
And you only have a limited amount of time. Now, most of the plans that we had before it switched over to the Postal Service health benefit plan should roll over into the Postal Service health benefit system. But you need to check and make sure, because also with the changeover, rates are going up across the board. You need to check them out. You need to compare them. You need to find the one that's right for you. Take the time to go through them now before we get into heavy package season and you don't have time to actually go through them and look. So now is the time to actually start looking at them.
And you better look at them because some of the rate increases are off the charts.
Yes.
I saw a gentleman, looking at his for his family, and it was almost $700 a month.
Mm-hmm. And with us not having a contract with pay increases that actually match that or higher, you're going to have to make a decision on what's best for your family for coverage and for cost.
And the other thing is, be very careful because if you select help yourself and one is sometimes more expensive than self and family. Do not try to explain that to me. It's just the way it is, okay?
Yep, and that's initially what I was like. I knew that selecting my insurance, so I was like, I gotta have Ruby on here. I might as well throw my other daughter on because I'm already under the family. That way she's duly insured between her father and I. It was, might as well do it. But thank goodness I did with Ruby and her blessed baby.
Yeah, you need to check in with the Postal Service health benefit plan to make sure yours is rolling over. Make sure you check in because if not, it may cause issues. It may not roll over. So be sure to check in on that. And
one James, let me explain. I once, missed. I thought I had processed all the information one time, and apparently didn't submit it correctly. And in January, the wife took one of our boys to the doctors, and we got a bill for it. And I called the insurance company up, and they said, well, what's going on? I submitted. I said, I don't understand. It never got rolled over. I didn't submit it, fully through the system. So when I did call up the program coordinator, they said, well, why didn't you do that? And I said, well, I was just stupid. And the guy says, well, I'm going to put that in the comment section, and we're going to start covering you as of today. So when you admit a mistake, they actually will be understanding.
Especially if you're nice to them about it.
Yes, because we were laughing our asses off. He said most people would blame their spouse, and I said, "Oh hell no, it might get back to her."
Speaking of money, we have a money thing coming up. The Christmas guarantee period. You guys want to talk about that a little bit? Talk about what it is, what it means to regulars and RCAs alike? Especially Kristen being the RCA and now a regular.
I was wanting to do an episode on that the closer it got, so it was a little bit more in depth.
We'll do that episode, but did you want to touch on it a little bit and just give a small briefer on it?
Yeah.
Or do you just want to put it on that episode?
Yeah, I'll be better prepared because I've got these awesome handouts.
Well, this year it actually covers through Christmas, doesn't it?
Yes.
The 27th?
Yes, December 7th? That's the date?
27th, yeah.
Yeah, December 7th through the 27th are the dates.
So we do get a little bit of relief after Christmas this year in terms of pay on that. But you got to remember, just before Thanksgiving to December 7th, we always get hammered, especially with the pre-Thanksgiving sales and then the pre-Thanksgiving Day sales, the Thanksgiving Day sales, the day after Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, etc., before we even get into December. And then in December, you get all the parcels and stuff from that. And then January, you start getting all the wish packages of people that ordered on Black Friday or Temu or Shein or whichever Chinese company it is by that point. And then by the start of February is when it starts winding down again.
God, I'm going to miss that.
No, you won't. You're gonna miss. You're gonna miss that like you miss Crown.
Well, that's what I mean. I mean, at Christmas time, I get enough Crown. I don't have to buy any for the year.
Oh, I guess, Kristen, you're gonna have to order some for Bill and have it delivered to him.
I'm a broke bitch. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I guess our fans could order him some and ship it to his house.
Oh, yeah. And I get my first step increase in 15 days.
Congratulations! I get mine now. I feel you. All right, that's pretty much all I had. So here's the question that was asked in our chat. We just turned into an S&DC, merged to offices together, one who was always in the building and one office from the town over. They want to redo the formula. From what I read in the contract, they can only redo formula if they go off the formula for 6 months. They say they have permission from headquarters that they can do it, though. Anything we can use to argue against it?
My first question is, it looks like, or it sounds like, that they're trying to get 3 offices to come under one formula. And that's going to be hard to do since 3 offices would represent 3 different zip codes, wouldn't it? And wouldn't you have autonomy to your own zip code for the formula?
Not in an S&DC. So when offices are moved into an S&DC, all the subs get merged into one matrix.
Well,
Yeah.
okay, that goes against what they've said in Wayne. Because when we were down 3 routes, they weren't allowed. The district manager would not allow Phoenixville, Berwyn, or Paoli to let us have any of their subs. So I guess that's a district thing, isn't it?
That would have been a grievance because the subs, it's all one office. When the S&DC is merged, it's considered one office. And so all of them are in one office now, just as the matrix is for each office. So when it comes to the S&DC, the first thing that needs to happen, once they move those offices in there, is they have to try hiring for the 6-month period before they can do the formula in that office. Now, I understand they have a formula with the office that was in there already, but that doesn't apply to the non-formula office that got moved in there.
Well, that opens up another can of worms.
Yeah, it does. It's a big mess, and I think that this is something that National needs to address. But once so in a formula office, if the number of relief carriers changes, then they have to recalculate the formula based on the number of routes that are in that office. And that would be the case here with the S&DC. However, because they merged an office in there that probably was not formula,
They were both formula.
They were both formula before, then they would have to redo the formula with everybody under the roof with the number of relief carriers that they have under the formulation guidelines that were set out.
And it shouldn't have a 6-month waiting period on there or wherever they came up with that.
And then once they recalculate the formula, whatever number of Saturdays they come up with, the most senior carriers that do not have Saturday would be moved back to Saturday's days off. Or if they don't have enough subs to cover the Saturdays, then that number of carriers would be moved to a non-Saturday relief day, as long as the non-Saturday relief days are equal to or less than the number of Saturday relief days. But when they're merging,
Go ahead.
So either way, they still have to recalculate the formula because the number of relief carriers has changed in that office, and that is one of the requirements to recalculate the formula. Is the number of available relief carriers is changed.
I was going to say, ready to say that I'm going to drop a hand grenade in my office then, because there is no reformulation with the other offices. So,
And so
I can blow it up.
they're trying to remove everyone from their days off and redoing every day from the top. No. So they have to do it by way of the formula and only with the routes that are there. They can't turn around and completely redo the formula because both offices were formula. Now, if they were moving a non-formula office in there, it would be a different story, I believe. But being both were formula, they both have non-Saturday relief days. It should just be a recalculation and just a change in the number of Saturday relief days, and then removing senior carriers to Saturday if they had a non-Saturday relief, and then moving junior carriers to non-Saturday relief days if they don't have enough for Saturday. And they can't take a non-relief Saturday relief from somebody. They have to take an open available non-Saturday relief day. And yes, everybody in that office changes seniority based on their seniority date. It's no longer just the seniority in their office. All seniorities are combined. So if you had 15 years and you were the senior regular in your office, but this other office had a 16-year senior regular, then that 16-year senior regular would be above the 15-year God, I can't say senior today. Senior regular. And it's the same with sub.
And the fighting begins.
Yeah. But it's not like changing offices like you would under a mutual transfer or something like that, or if you were to take a district bid. You keep your seniority moving into the SNDC, but just you combine the two lists based on the seniority date. But according to Maston, it gives you more opportunities to move up, it gives you more opportunities to become regular, and everybody moves faster through the chain, supposedly.
Conversely, though, if people can move up, that means other people will have to be moved down.
Other people have to retire. For them to move up.
Yeah. You could have a senior sub, say, and they would be moved down if you had the other offices had more senior subs.
Yes.
Yeah, combining the seniority.
Damn. Like I said, then the fighting starts.
Yep. All right. Anything
and yes, it could create more PTF positions. Yeah.
It depends on the number of available subs. If the other office coming in had a full complement of subs coming into the SNDC, and carriers were willing to take Saturdays and Mondays moving into that office to diversify the amount of subs and cover those 2 days, then that would actually alleviate the formulation. If they're in the PTF could take a Monday, Saturday, 2 day until they become a regular carrier and remove the PTF from the position and cause the office to revert to a non-formula status.
Well, James, I have to contradict you on there in regards to a office actually having a full complement of subs. That's a unicorn I haven't seen yet.
Yeah, then it doesn't usually.
There are offices that are almost at full capacity of subs.
Yeah,
there are unicorns out there, and those unicorns usually have the best management in them.
That's
in terms of treatment of their subs and their regulars. So the possibility is out there. And I guarantee you, if we got a contract that gave us a 20 to 25% increase in pay on top of a 2.5% wage increase year over the course of the 2.5 to 3% each raise increase, plus cost of living adjustments, I guarantee you we could actually hire on more subs. And some of them would hire on for that pay and put up with the management BS just for the pay if somebody were to negotiate a good contract like that.
Yeah, that's...
When you wish upon a star.
I'd like to know what cloud you're on, because I want to hop over there to yours.
Well, I'm saying this because I know that when the city carriers vote down their contract and they take it to arbitration and it's put in front of the arbitrator and they see the 65% for the longshoremen and they see the 45% so far that Boeing machinists are asking for, as well as the 25% that several other unions have negotiated, I think 20% is actually pretty fair for the Postal Service. Arguing that the Postal Service is in the red, well, 90% of that redness is management overweight. We are a top heavy organization. We have too many managers. And I guarantee you, if we cut half the managers out of the Postal Service, we'd actually be a profitable company. But don't get me started, because I'll go on a long ass rant and we don't need that tonight.
Well, and I want to correct you about being PC, because overweight in management also pertains to the size of the individuals.
Well, I mean, when you're paid as much as they are, they're paid as much as they are, they can afford to actually buy food.
I'm out.
Okay, guys, on that note, we're going to wind it down for tonight. And I have to go to work early tomorrow. I'm not looking forward to that.
Go ahead, Bill, your final comments.
Oh, my final comments. I feel for you. I've been through the pain of this for 26 years. The political season. To be honest with you, the political season actually forced me to make my decision, because of the fact that I know how this SDNC operates, how the district manager is, and I knew that I wouldn't be able to tolerate the bullshit anymore, because after 26 years, I really was ready to go off. And it's better to exit quietly with my dignity intact. But, my prayers are with you, with the daylight savings time. You got 2 more days of the political bullshit, and then somebody will come up to you on Wednesday and tell you all political mail has to be delivered. And you just look at them like, you got to be the dumbest shit in the world, But that's what they're going to tell you. So, just follow the orders, follow the directions. Everybody be safe. Your job professionally, efficiently, friendly. Enjoy your time outdoors with your customers and the kids and the dogs and all. But make sure that you get home safely. You are the most important delivery, and I say this and I mean it. I hate seeing any time when we have a carrier injured or lost, in our craft, in any craft. It's intolerable that you have to give your life for a job. If you want to do that, join the military. But be safe, get home to your loved ones, and God bless you all. James?
Bill's right. It's gonna be a pain. Political season's coming to an end, but we're still going to have political flyers even after the election. Just deliver them diligently and safely. It's still severe weather season. It's the fall version of it. As the jet stream starts dripping south, we're going to still get severe weather, tornadoes, and even hurricanes are still possible all the way up through December, even into January sometimes. But be safe out there, and especially with it getting dark earlier in those severe weather areas, watch out for downed trees blocking the road at night. They're very hard to see. Be careful out there. Be safe. Be strong. Management doesn't care. As long as the mail gets delivered, the packages get scanned. They don't care if you make it home at night or not. They don't care if you're doing your job safely. They don't care if you're following the rules of the PO 603 unless it comes back to bite them, and then they give you an investigative interview. It is our job as a rural craft to stand strong, stand up, and show them we're all in this together. Kristen?
Thank you, guys. Yeah, let's remain diligent out there, especially as it's getting dark. Stay safe. Just a few more days left of political. Thank goodness. And then on to Christmas. We'll go way more in depth on Christmas overtime, probably in the next week or two. Other than that, guys, stay safe this week, and we'll be back next week.
I think the beast comes in a little under 8.5 tons.
Or one ex-wife.